kind of box yourself in to whatever that drum pattern is. So I actually start with all of the music first, create all of the music first, and then add the drums at a later point, which will give me different opportunities to have different type of patterns to that actual track. Like this could be a ballad, this could be an EDM track, you know, it could be a trap sounding type track, depending on, you know, where I want to go with it. So I always start with music.
Is this something that, like the music that you wrote here, is this something that, you know, you've been playing around with for a while, or was it something when you sat down to actually do the production? I'm going to write this tune, this is the chord progression I'm going to use.
Right, you know what, for me, it's more of finding different sounds and stuff that I like to use, or whatever kind of speaks to me at that moment. There's no real direction. There's no real sense of, okay, here's where I'm going to go today. It's more of what I'm feeling at that moment. So, yeah, it's pretty much what I'm feeling at the moment. If I'm kind of angry, you'll kind of get that edgy, dark track from me. If I'm feeling, you know, love in the air, you know, then you'll get a, you know, sort of little turn. I'm teaching you fellas something, you know. You feel love in the air, and you get this kind of, you know, track from me. So I totally create off a feeling.
Nice. Does anybody have any questions as we're going along?
Yeah, I probably have the same question he does. So did you bring in Chris Brown to record his vocals? And if you did you have a chance to produce them? And can you talk a little bit about what techniques you, I mean, maybe not like specifically, but what techniques you used in production on vocals?
Right.
I'm not going to repeat that because I think everybody heard it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everybody heard that. For this particular record, I actually didn't, you know, I didn't have any hand in the writing, or actually wasn't there for this session. When I got the phone call to actually send Chris some tracks, he was working on Brandy's album. He was doing some writing for Brandy's album, and I just kind of sent him a bunch of tracks. And about 2 weeks later, after sending a few tracks, I kind of got a phone call from management saying, you know, hey, Chris wrote to one of the tracks. I actually thought it was for his album, or Brandy. So the first thing she said was, it's not for Chris. And I'm like, man, well, who's it for? And then she was like, it's actually for Justin Bieber. And I was like, wow, my son loves this guy, so that's going to be pretty cool. And it's for his Christmas project. So that's, you know, it came about through that. It was kind of him vibing out with his songwriters in the studio. I was in New York, they was in LA. They played the record for Justin. He loved it. He recorded it. They played the record for the label. They loved it. And, you know, here's how it happened. I pretty much, as the producer, sent the files, which is this Pro 2 session here, to LA. And they combined that with his vocals and mixed the record and sent it back, you know, for my input on, you know, the mixing of the song.
Yes, Sharif.
Can you go into something, go into explaining how do you get those kind of calls? Like, how do you have, you know, for the all upcoming producers who want to be in those type of situations, ESPN, Chris Brown, are you personal relationships, or is it, you know, they're looking at your discography and saying, hey, I want to contact that guy for a track?
Great question. For this situation, it was very unique. I kind of want to say it happened by accident, but don't really. So I'll kind of tell you the story really quickly. I was on tour, touring with Trey Songz, and Tiger put out that mixtape, Well Done. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't hear it. You know, I was on the road, so I really wasn't in tune to stuff coming out. I came home, and about 8 months later, I kind of was checking out the part 2 of Tiger's mixtape, Well Done. So I listened to part 2, and then realized that he had a part 1. Kind of went back after listening to part 2, saying, you know, part 2 is hot, maybe part 1 is even better. Listen to it, and I'm listening, and I'm like, I'm pointing at the computer, kind of like talking to the computer, like, that's my track, like, that's mine. So, you know, I was kind of angry at first because I felt like the track was taken from me without my permission, kind of put out there without my permission, so I felt a certain kind of way about that, but did some research on it. Come to find out they shot a video. It had like 14 million views. All of this, I had no idea. So, you know, kind of thinking and using my brain a little, instead of coming after the money, I kind of reached out to them and said, hey, listen, all I want you to do is tell the people that I produced it. I don't want no money. Money's going to come and go, but it's about the credit. You know, it's 14 million views, so that means 14 million people viewed this. Let them know I did it. Reached out to Chris Brown's people, reached out to Tiger. They agreed, tweeted it, and use the whole social media thing.
So I want to ask about this particular situation you just shared. What would you do different if you would do anything different, like how you sent the track to your friend and you probably trusted him or whatever?
Right.
It's not the ideal situation we want.
Gotcha.
But I understand how you responded and I
Right.
understand why. But what would you do different if you would do anything different?
I mean, only thing I could have done differently was asked to be paid. It's really the only thing I could do different, to ask to be paid, and that's really taking a big chance, being that it was a mixtape song. A lot of us producers don't really get paid from mixtape songs because it's a project that artists put out for free. So that's the only other way I could have really approached it. Or I could have kind of, now that I'm really thinking about it, I could kind of maybe tried to barter it. Well, you put this out, you use my track, maybe I could get, a verse. It could be 16 bars or 32 bars on a project that I'm personally working on. It's kind of really tough to do. Like I said, I didn't really know them. I didn't know Tyga, I didn't know Chris Tyga, I didn't know Chris at all. I just knew, their teams and management teams. So that was the only really way I could, really go at it. You know what I'm saying? Hope I answered your question.
You did. Just basically the guy who you gave the track to.
Right.
Is there something you would communicate different to whoever you gave the track to?
Not really, because I actually gave it to him to actually write for Chris. Because I knew that he was kind of someone that I can go through to get on his project. So I was actually excited that he did it, because most times you'll learn that, when you give people tracks, sometimes they don't really do what they say they're going to do. They don't really play it. They be hating. Nah, I'm not going to put you on. You ain't really my mans like that. But he actually did hate, and he actually played the music. He didn't make it. It's not like he was getting any money from it. So it was on some, I like it. I think Chris will like it. I'll play it, and I don't want nothing for it. And that's how it was. So I don't think I would do anything different.
What up, it's the kid? Amadeus. We live out here at CLO, Remy U event, Dub Spot. I'm always banging on tables, man. I'm banging on tables in the kitchen. I'm banging tables in the bathroom. Yep, I got a table in my bathroom. Banging on tables in the basement. That's how I started, matter of fact, banging on tables. You know what I'm saying? Like, slap. Slap. You know what it is. I always support my brother. Thanks to my brother for coming out and supporting me here tonight. Appreciate the love. I appreciate you. Keep banging on tables, you heard? Platinum Boy, Amadeus, team song. Bah, bah, bah.
That's what's up.